always like to say that we didn't have the intention of making it an all-women organization from beginning. But because what we represent is a non-profit, and it's a sector in the legal sector of Nigeria. Now, what we do basically is we represent indigent inmates in Nigerian prisons. And the truth of the matter is that sector is something that is not lucrative in the sense that there's not much money in it. So most men, like we have had in the past, we've had a man as one of our employees here, but the passion isn't there because there's not much money in it. So most men are interested because there's really no money in it, as a matter of fact. So, but on the other hand, for women are tend to, we are the compassionate and the tender gender. So we tend to want justice at all means, legal means. So when a woman walks into our organization and we let them know what we do, they are quick to resonate with what we do, and they are quick to want to be a part of us, regardless of the pay. So that's why at the end of the day, the trend has been that people come for recruitment, but the women are interested while the men aren't, just because of the pay. So that's why at the end of the day, we have all women organization. It wasn't an intention, but now we want to make it one. If I would use one adjective to qualify the Nigerian justice system, I would say it's in the process. We haven't gotten to where we're going, but we are not where we used to be. Basically, the challenges we have, especially the criminal justice system, which is the area we focus on in this organization, is that the process of attaining justice at all is so cumbersome, with lots of bureaucracies and with lots of conditions. For instance, you have somebody who was arrested for whatever offense, and the law is that under 48 hours, the person must be charged to a court. Now, you have people in police cell for 1 month without being charged for any crime, without being presented to any court. We are faced with that challenge to go to the police and ask that if you would not release this person, then charge them to court. Now, they get to court, and the court is, okay, this offense you're being charged for is a bailable one. The court grants you bail and then remand you to prison pending the time you are able to perfect that bail. The problem we have is the process of perfecting bail is so cumbersome. The conditions the magistrates give to perfect bail or to bail, it's more or less like you're buying your freedom, and so many people cannot afford it. For instance, a magistrate says a civil servant of level 14 should stand as surety for someone who has stolen something maybe worth 100,000 naira. I mean, where would he get? How many of us Nigerians have civil servants in our families who have attained that level in civil service? So you're looking for somebody that qualifies to come and stand in for you as a surety. So it is difficult to get one, and where you even have, maybe you have to pay for that person's service, right? And they can't afford it. So it makes it difficult. It makes it very difficult to perfect bail, and so many other conditions. Sometimes they ask you to bring somebody that has a landed property. I mean, where would you get such person? So we go on, and you see somebody that most of the people in prison today have been granted bail, but they cannot afford to perfect those bail. So that is another stage to the problem. Now, the next stage is the delay in the justice system, because you now see somebody who is supposed to be tried like almost immediately, but you see that the chain goes on for almost 1 year. You have not even started trial. Sometimes we are on trial, and for another 1 year we're still doing that trial. So it goes on and on, like lots of challenges. Is it the challenges of corruption? Lots of challenges in the justice system. But at the end of the day, I know that one thing I can say for sure is that the system is still in process. People, organizations like ours are rising up every day asking that some laws be repealed, some laws be reviewed, right? So I know that we're getting there, but it's a long one. at our system, our court system, for instance, every day trainings are done. Every day they are talking. But we are the country that we do a lot of talking with less action. So the fact is that people and organizations, authorities, government authorities, they have identified this problem. We all know there is the problem. They've organized trainings, they've organized talk shows, they've organized a lot of things. And, we all sit around table and do the talking over and over again. Every year, every independence, every democracy day, we keep doing that talking, but nobody's taking action. So that is the problem. And that's why we say as an organization, we are done talking, we want to act. I want to be very realistic, because I have come to realize that we can't all be condemning. Now, in Lagos, for instance, it is estimated that Lagos is about 20 million population. And in Lagos, we don't have up to 100 judges. So, and there are lots of cases. So one judge might be handling more than 1,000 cases per time. So these things are expected, right? When a judge is handling so much cases, he would adjourn. He cannot attend to more than 10 per day, right? So that's why the delay keeps happening. Sometimes, of course, I can apportion some blame also to the state government. I'm restricting it to Lagos State now because we operate here. You realize that aside the fact that there are lots of cases they are handling, I expect that for litigation lawyers like us, we should have a good or smooth way of communication. So if the court would not sit tomorrow for whatever reason, I should know and not leave my house for that purpose, right? So we keep going and taking dates and it's keep elongating like that. Then there's another problem. Somebody that is being charged for a murder case, for instance. Everybody knows that a magistrate court does not have jurisdiction over a murder case, over an armed robbery case, over rape cases, capital offenses. But the police would first charge you to that magistrate court, and you will be there for more than 2 years awaiting legal advice from the DPP's office. Now, that advice can take 2 years to come out. So when it comes out, that is when they now tell you, okay, you have a case to answer, or you don't have a case to answer. So you don't have a case to answer, go home. But what happens to the 2 years you have spent? You have a case to answer, then they tell the authority to charge you to a higher court who has the competent jurisdiction to handle that matter. It's now there. Before they even charge is another process. Before they eventually charge you to the higher court, before they get that matter assigned to a judge, it's another process. So that's the kind of issues we have. So if we want to make headway, these bureaucracies have to be cut down. Why should any police or any prosecuting agent charge me to the magistrate court first, knowing fully well that court does not have the jurisdiction to entertain that matter? Why not take me straight off to the court that should listen to my case? Why do I have to waste so much time of my life in prison? And these are the things we see every day. And I'm not sure there's any law that gives a magistrate the power to reject any matter. So whatever comes before you must be taken. You have to rule over, you have to take whatever comes before you. So those are the cases or not. So let the lawyers now drag it whether or not you have jurisdiction. Police brutality in Nigeria is now becoming a norm, to the point that people then see the news and we no longer cringe, because it's like every other day we see this thing. It is real, and we have lots of people in prison who are victims of police brutality. And the reason why it keeps going on is because our citizens are not educated. What I mean education, I don't mean formal education. Lots of people, even educated people that have gone to school, do not know their rights in Nigeria. So a policeman stops me on the road, and all I want to do is just to pay him and leave, without ascertaining why should you even stop me in the first place? What have I done? What is my offense? Lots of people are victim of this, and they have no one to talk to. They have nobody to turn to. So what do? They leave it to God. And you know that in Nigeria, when you say feel it for long, let's leave it to God. So it continues that way until people begin to stand up to the authority and stand up to the police. Yes, you are a police, but your duty is to protect me and not to brutalize me, and that's why we have this here. So we do this for sensitization, because we know now that the citizens are not even educated when it comes to their rights. So we have a duty to also educate people, and that is also a way of decongesting the prison, because if people are informed, they would, from the beginning, they wouldn't even land in prison in the first place. Why should police even have the power? Because they are not lawyers. Why should they prosecute in the first place? But the law permits police to prosecute at the magistrate court level, notwithstanding that they are not lawyers. This has advantages and disadvantages. Now, the disadvantage outweighs the advantage. The disadvantages is that these people are not lawyers, so they don't have the basic legal education. Yes, they might have been in investigations and department. They might have seen a lot of things, but you cannot quantify it or put it pari passu with someone that has gone to law school, that understood what law is all about. Now, real criminals in court now come and get scot-free, because these people cannot nail them with the required evidence and nail them and convict them of crime committed. So if a real criminal has money and gets a sound lawyer, he's going to get away with whatever crime that is being charged of, because the prosecuting policeman he can't do more than he knows. You can't give what you don't have, So that's one disadvantage rather. Another thing is, if you have ever walked into a court where a police is prosecuting, even if you are not a lawyer, you will not be impressed. Like, what's going on here? They are not professional, the way they go around, and it's an avenue for them to also make money. They will collect money from the defendant, collect money from you, that is even the complainant. You that are bringing the case, like, okay, I've been duped or something, for you to get justice through the police. The police will extort you and tell you that like a lawyer would charge you for an appearance fee at every day in court. Police will charge, So those are the disadvantages we have. So at the end of the day, to get the justice through a police prosecuting that case is tough. And that's why there's now a provision of the law that says, as a complainant, you can take a lawyer who will watch the brief for you. We call them watching brief. Now, what that means is, while the police is prosecuting my case as a complainant, I can get a lawyer, private lawyer, who oversees what the police is doing to ensure that he's doing the needful. It can help with all the ways it needs to get justice. The lawyer can provide assistance. But the law is that lawyer cannot talk in court. He can only be seen and not be heard. So if he has to be heard, he has to take the permission first. We call it leave of court. He has to take the leave of court first before he starts to talk. So those are it just doesn't make sense that any police would prosecute any matter, especially capital offenses, when they start at the magistrate court level like that, and they would not follow up. The truth is, they have a lot of cases they're also attending to. So for them to leave that office, to go to DPP office to follow up on anything is hard. And the worst part is that the court gives them the power to also verify addresses of shorties. That is, if somebody wants to stand for me as a shorty, it is the police that is prosecuting me that will go and verify the address of that person. Do you understand? Okay. So at the end of the day, for them to even stand up and say, we want to go and verify your address, they'll collect money from you.
Of course.
So they can charge you another 20,000 naira. If you don't have it, you are there, and the person in prison is there. So it makes the whole thing very cumbersome and unrealistic. The only change is the change of name. When it comes to activities going on, there's really no change. In the prison, no change. Now, one provision of that law, the reform of that law that we were all excited about, was the fact that a custodian, that's a prison custodian, the controller now in question, has the right to say, this prison is congested. I can no longer take in people. So we feel that if we have built a prison for 800 people and we now have 3,000 people in, the controller should be able to say, we don't want more people here. But that is not the case. It is so we have lots of laws, including this one you have just mentioned, in place in Nigeria with no execution. So nothing is happening as to activities. Nothing has changed. The prison system remains the same, and that law in any way does not influence the speedy trial at all. At all. It's still as it were. Nothing has changed except for the name. We like to always commend when there's need to do, like recently on the online space, the police has introduced the police complaint unit, where people can lodge complaint of reporting any erring officer. So then proper measures can be taken against such officers. And I think that unit has been functioning and they've been working, so I can commend them on that act. But the major problem I have with professionalism of the police is, especially when it comes to sexual offenses, if you walk into the police, going with a victim of sexual offense or sexual violence, the way there is no professionalism of any sort. The kind of questions they ask, what were you wearing? Why did you go there? Why were you there? Those kind of things naturally castigates you like, I don't just understand it. So I feel that the police needs a lot to do in terms of training and recruitment. Their recruitment should not be people that has lost hope in life. It's like the police is meant for people that no longer have anything to do. So you just feel that's the right, but then just go and dump myself there and they now arm you with gun. A angry person with gun. What do you expect? So I feel that the process should be changed. Let's recruit people that we need in the service, like psychologists, lawyers, right? People that understand the criminology, that understand criminal this thing, because their focus is on crime. But unfortunately, they even take civil cases and turn it to criminal matters. so there are a lot of things going on there. So no professionalism of any sort. And I feel that we need to have an emergency number in Nigeria. People are in their houses and being robbed and no one to call. So we need to have emergency short code numbers that people can call. Like 911, like everybody know. We are not in America, but we all know America uses 911. So I feel that Nigeria, 300 million over, almost. So I think we should have something like that, and that way people can say the police is my friend. I call, you pick, and you respond. Not that we are calling, the number is not going through. You pick all eventually, tell us there's no fuel. Formally, we are 1 year, 3 months or 4 months old now, and so far we have helped 121 inmates out of prison for free. And that's a lot for us in that short space, considering considering the terrain of the Nigerian justice system. It's like when you tell people like, how were you able to achieve that? So it's a whole lot for us, and it's born out of persistence and passion from the team. So we've done that, and on our sensitization project as well, we have sensitized over 1,000 students of senior secondary school, teaching them the reality of police brutality, its effect, and we've taught them on their human right as well. So we've done a lot on the sensitization aspect of our work, and so far we've been recognized by a lot of media houses, Guardian, Vanguard. We've had a lot of partnership with some organizations in Nigeria and individuals as well that resonate with what we do. Some has been victim, and they never saw this help when they were victims. So knowing now that there's an organization that does this, they're so happy to be a part of us. In my experience, I realized that most law firms are there for big people. So an average person would not walk into a law firm because he believes, I don't have money for lawyer, So I when we started, our focus was we want to make justice accessible and affordable, and at the same time we're delivering quality. So that's what makes it stand out for us. We want everybody, regardless of your social status, economic status, to be able to access justice through our firm. So that's one. And the other aspect of it is whoever joins us as a client becomes a family, because we just don't want to be your legal advisor. We want to be part of your life, because we believe that as an individual, as an organization, you need a lawyer at every stage of your life. When we get such accolades, it gives us the inspiration to go on, right? So when we are recognized like that, it shows us that people are watching, people are seeing what we are doing, and people resonate with it, and people need us to continue. So we can't afford to be tired. So it gives us the inspiration to move ahead and to go on. I mean, not even just Donors for Africa, lots of even young people. You see, Nigerian youth, I'm very concerned about Nigerian youth, and I feel that we can do better than what we are doing. So I see some youth and I'm not happy with the way they're going, but it doesn't mean that I'll stay away from them because they're not doing the right thing. I want to be able to make a correction. So I have people follow me, see the things I do on my social media platforms, and randomly I get text messages, I get DMs and say, thank you for inspiring me, even though I don't know the person. So all these things, all these messages keeps me going and keep telling me, you can do better, you can only do better. We do trainings normally, and it could have been physical, but for coronavirus, we had to make it virtual. However, I said we have a chambers, and we want our chambers to be accessible to everybody. So startups people are people that can naturally not afford legal services, or some maybe can afford but do not even understand that they need it. Right. So what we try to achieve with those trainings, we want to be part of startups' life from foundation till their growth. So, and doing that is one of the first legal decision you're going to make as an entrepreneur is, after you must have said, I want to start selling Coke, the next thing is, what's the name of your business? So we want to help them do that strategically, not just anything that at the end of 2 years we want to change again. So we want to ensure that they take the right step from the very beginning. So that's why we organize not just that training, we do a lot of training. It is not every problem that is government problem. Now, for the government, the best any government will do is to promulgate laws against something that we don't want. And when we promulgate laws, we expect the government to sensitize the people about the law so that they can be aware. And the next thing is to execute the laws. So the problem now is, as a rape victim, if I don't come forth in the first place to talk about it, there's no way the government can help me. So we need to talk to our girls about talking, which I think we are achieving little by little. People are beginning to be comfortable coming out. Thank God for social media, coming out to say this has happened to me, or this is happening to me. So if the people can talk now, it's one thing to talk, it's another thing to be ready to go, till the end with the matter. Because we've had people talk and they tell you, I'm not interested in prosecution. They've spoken their mind. Probably maybe they got ill. But it is one thing to talk. It's another thing to be ready to come to court and give evidence. So some of them are not interested in coming to court to give. And when a witness is not coming forth, there's nothing that the government will do. There's nothing that the court will do. It then means that case can't go on. So as victims, we have a role to play. Now, as parents, we have a role to play. Because I believe that every rape perpetrators come from one family. So as a family is everything. A governor comes from a family. The president comes from a family. So if the family sector or the family unit now can do its best in training not just the female children, but even the male child, if we can do excellently, we'll have less problem in the society. I believe that if the family is good, we'll have less corruption in Nigeria, because people that are embezzling our money comes from one family. So if the family can be tackled, and people can instill discipline, instill good morals into their words, before stepping out. My father would tell me, whatever you do in life, you represent this family. The name of this family will be recorded on. So if we all can be mindful of that okay, I am coming from somewhere and I'm an ambassador of that family, and I don't want to ruin the reputation of that family, we would have less issues. We also help women who are victims of domestic violence or gender-based violence. So we have partnership with some organizations, Gender Mobile, GDNG. So they refer their victims to us, and we take them pro bono as well. So most of these women probably are in abusive relationship because probably they are depending on their partner for financial independence. Like that, they're depending on their partner financially. So when issues like that come, first of all, it becomes difficult for them to leave the relationship. And when they summon courage to do, they don't even have money and they don't know where they are going. Of course, we don't have money to offer, but we can stand by you and ensure that you get it right. So what we do is we try to get justice for them as well. We go through the Ministry of Women Affairs here in Alausa, so we represent them all the way for free. So those are part of other things we do.